So you've heard me talking about content strategy and you have no idea what that means. Surely it just means what we're posting, right? Well, today we're talking about the transformation in your mindset about posting on social media and what it means to go from having a posting plan to having a content strategy and how your content marketing can support it. Let's dig in.
Welcome to the Social Takeoff Podcast, a podcast for travel professionals who are ready to use social media to help their business take off. I'm Kelli Hay-Smith, your host. I'm travel agent turned social media marketer who now works with multiple seven-figure travel agencies to help them infuse strategy and create a target social plan. I'll be sharing all of the tips and tricks of the trade, as well as content ideas and trends that you should be using to help grow your travel business. Let's get started.
So when I ask people what the number one problem they're having with their social media, there's usually two responses. The first response is, I'm not consistent. I can't get consistent. But the most common response that I get is, I just don't know what to post. And I've said this before, the actual problems, and you know what? Maybe these deserve like their own episodes, and maybe we'll do that, but we're going to do an overview episode today. Y'all know I have to yammer around and think out loud. But first off, if you are having a hard time being consistent, it's a planning problem, not a posting problem. Okay. You're having a hard time being consistent showing up on social media. The problem is the planning. Second is, if you are having a problem knowing what to post, it's a strategy problem, not a posting problem. So you never have a posting problem, because there's a root of that problem. There's either a planning problem or there is a strategy problem. And that's what we're going to talk about today. Content strategy and content marketing. What are they? So there is a post going out on my Instagram tomorrow about this very thing, and I hope that you'll see it and that you will have already listened to this, so you're going to be able to get more out of it. But content strategy is the overview. Now, your content strategy is built up of four main components that I see: your unique value proposition, your business goals, your ideal client, and your specialty or niche. So you have to know about those four things before you can build a strategy. And a strategy revolves around those four things. It revolves around being able to and understanding how to speak about your unique value proposition. Your unique value proposition is what you do. It's your service and what sets you apart. It's your offer, it's your service, but it's more than your service is how you do that really well. Even though all travel professionals plan travel, everyone has, and that'll play into your specialty, but everyone has their unique flavor in the way that they do things. Part of that's how you talk to people. Part of that is your specialty and your niche. But a lot of that is just little things that you do extra. Some people have extra guides or itinerary planning or apps, or they do different services, or they offer Zooms, whatever. You have to be able to outline that offer that you put out there and explain your unique value proposition. What makes your service valuable? What makes your service valuable, and the angle that you're coming at from that, okay? Your business goals. Okay, you have to understand what it is. So if you're an agency owner and you want to hire, hiring is one of your business goals. That needs to be in your content strategy, right? If you know that you are not yet earmarked by Disney, but that's something that you want to do, then I know by working with top agencies that are earmarked that we need to incorporate diversifying our Disney offers and our Disney destinations in our content plan. Talk to your BDMs, get things like that. If your goal is to become sandals certified, no, not sandals certified, sandals preferred, something like that. If that is your goal, then you need to create more sandals content in order to create more booking for sandals. So understanding your business goals. Maybe your business goals are that you want 3 people traveling every month, and you have people traveling every month, but July, December, in October, and we need to get those bookings for that. That's our goal. So what are your business goals? Then you have to know you have to know who your ideal client is. And I just did a live on Monday in the new subscriptions on my Instagram. So there's now subscriptions for $4.99 a month. You can get bonus Instagram content that includes reels, lives, all kinds of things. But I did a client journey live on Monday, and we talked about ideal client. But when it comes to your ideal client, you don't need to focus so much on what car they drive or whatever. You need to focus on what they're feeling and their mindset around travel. Because what really matters is your ideal client is what? Is it a family? Okay, if so, what are they struggling with? What are the families that you plan for struggling with? Or what are their desires in a vacation? That's your ideal client. Explain that mentality and those things for your ideal client. Then you have to understand your specialty and your niche. Your specialty and your niche are, we talked about this a couple weeks ago, the difference in like to niche or not to niche was the episode. Go back and listen to it if you didn't. But it really explains that a niche is a little bit more broad and specialty is not your niche, but it is a very narrow group of people that you specialize in specifically. And so you have to be able to outline those 4 points before you can come up with any type of marketing strategy. And when it comes to creating a marketing strategy for your travel business, that is an overview. A lot of times we look at an overview of strategy, and really the strategy doesn't change month to month. We look at a strategy on a quarterly basis. We look at a strategy on a yearly basis. And there are a few things that we tweak every month. We are going to check in on what we're doing to make sure that number one, it's working, and number two, that the goals are still there, or, has anything changed from month to month. But if things are the same and the goals are the same, we don't change the strategy, the overview, unless that we're checking and say, this doesn't seem to be working. We need to make something different. But the strategy, the overview, the point to the things stays the same. We change our monthly content plan. So the way that I work in my business, we create an overview strategy yearly, and when we first begin working with a client, and then quarterly. And then at the end of the year, if we're working with them, we're gonna work out a strategy for the following month. But we start quarterly, and then we break into monthly content plans. And those monthly content plans contain what we call content marketing. So content marketing is so vastly different than just posting. Because when we are posting, we are thinking about things from a day-to-day perspective. We are thinking about things from this perspective of, I'm going to get this bite-sized piece of information out there, or this bite-sized piece of insight out there. But here's the kicker to this, right? There are very few pieces, if any, pieces of insight or information that you can provide that no one else ever, anywhere else in the history of the world has had about a destination, whether it's Disney or cruises or Italy or river roses, whatever it is. You have unique insights, sure, but for the most part, those things have been said and done before. You always have to go back to that UVP for what sets you apart. And if you're posting just to get that info, and informational and authority building content is extremely important. It's extremely important. But that is, if you are simply talking about information, you're copywriting. You have to include the 4 pieces of your content strategy in order to make it content marketing and content writing. So if we're copywriting, we are simply talking about something in a very educational, informational way. Those things are important, but we can transfer that or transform that into content writing and use it for content marketing by infusing that strategy. So what do I mean by that? Well, we talked about what the 4 components are, right? I'm going to say that again. Unique UVP, unique value proposition, business goals, ideal client, and specialty niche. In order to take copywriting and turn it into content writing, in order to take posts and posting and turn it into content marketing, we have to take the outline and the overview of our marketing strategy, our content strategy, and put that into the post. So what I mean by that is, if we have a post which is about, let's say, I have to think because I don't want to use Disney for every single example. It's just what comes easiest to me because I am a Disney girl. Let's talk about cruises. I'm like waiting on somebody out there to like throw something at me, and I'm the only person in the room. I'm like waiting on somebody to be like, talk about this, and I'm literally the only person sitting in this room. But so actually, let's talk about cruises. So let's say that your post, let's say that one of your business goals is to book more Royal Caribbean cruises. And your ideal client is a budget-minded mom who wants to take her kids on a great vacation, but is always concerned about budget. Okay? One of the reasons I want you to stop thinking about how much money a family has is, and more the mindset they have around travel, because a family with a lot of money may not be willing to spend a lot of money on travel, and a family with less money may be willing to sacrifice other things for a larger budget and travel. So you have to think about their mindset around travel, not their budget, not their yearly income. But that's beside the point. Okay, so let's say that that's the deal. And my specialty is family travel. My niche is budget-friendly travel. And my UVP, I'm going to talk about my service, okay? So if I want to book more cruises, book being the process, not the service, if I want to have more cruises on my calendar in the month of November and December, and I am going to support the content strategy with a piece of content that's marketing cruises for that time period, I can talk about it in the way of maybe my caption brings that in, or the headline of the carousel brings that in. Moms, do you want to take your kids on a vacation where they're going to see crystal clear water and beautiful beaches and experience new cultures without paying an arm and a leg? Check out this post. Here are 5 experiences they can have with a Royal Cruise Line itinerary that you can book for under $5,500. Swipe. You have spoken directly to your ideal client. We said your ideal client is moms who want to give their kids unique experiences, but she's concerned about budget. Okay? That is an ideal client. I've spoken directly to her. I have talked about a business goal because I want to book these cruises. So I've talked about the business goal. And I am talking within my specialty and my niche. My specialty being budget-minded, I'm talking about the lower budget, and my niche is family travel. We're planning for a travel. Do you see how I'm working through that? Now, I'm going to give them information in this post. I'm going to give them an informative post because I'm going to talk about 5 experiences that they can have on board or within a Royal Caribbean itinerary. And maybe that includes an excursion into another country where maybe we're learning about culinary things in another country. And I'm talking about visiting a beach that's just stunning that we don't have without going to the Caribbean. And these are the 5 experiences. I'm laying out the 5 experiences. This is informational. It's insightful because I've probably experienced it. I know that my kids would enjoy it. So I have those pieces. I'm giving the information and the insight, but then I'm going to pull back from that little bite-sized piece that I'm giving where it's really specific, and I'm going to give the 30,000-foot view back a little bit, and I'm going to talk about the fact that if you would like your kids to experience something that they would love and you want to do it on your budget, this is what I specialize in. Here's how I help. And within this post that I have given 5 things they can experience, that's a one size fits all. Now I'm going to come back and talk about how my service, my UVP, my unique value proposition can help create or curate that specific trip for them. So it goes from being a post where I am simply sharing 5 things that somebody should do or 5 things they can do to being a piece of content marketing because I am infusing the strategy that I have in it. So instead of talking about this one simple post that's just a post, that's a topic that I'm posting to get something up there. I book Royal Caribbean cruises. Yeah, I am I'm excited to book more of those. So yeah, that's in there. I know I want to talk about Royal Caribbean. So I'm going to share 5 things they can do or 5 excursions they can do. But if I am hitting on all 4 pieces of that marketing or that content marketing strategy, that content strategy, I am now infusing strategy into my posting. I am still putting forth destination information and making myself the expert and authority on said cruise. But I also am highlighting my UVP in one post. That is the lens in which everything should go through. So to make it very clear, your content strategy is the overview. It is the 30,000 foot view that you look at what your presence on social media is going to be about. And it needs these 4 components. Again, I'm going to say them. UVP, business goals, ideal client, specialty, and niche. That is that your content strategy is built around that. You have to lay that out before you can build your strategy. Now we talk about what are our goals with our content, and we create content pieces or content marketing that supports those goals. We're going to talk about what we're focusing on in that time period, and then we're going to build content pieces or content marketing that supports that focus. We're going to then come up with topics that can support all of that above, and then we're going to create posts from that. So no longer are we thinking about what we're posting. We're thinking about our strategy and what pieces of content we can market our strategy through. It allows you to take a much broader look at your presence on social media and stop posting and start thinking about the marketing and the content strategy that you put out there. Yes, I am aware that this was relatively short, only 15 minutes of education, but I feel like this one hits really, really strong. I also feel like this is something that you're going to have questions on. So I want you to jump into my DMs and answer your questions. But it also leads me into 2 more topics. I've talked about them before, and I'm going to talk about them again. Number 1, I have a new subscription service on Instagram. You're getting bonus content, and we're really focusing in on content strategy on that podcast. On those subscriptions. Bonus reels with content prompts, bonus reel templates, but really talking about how to use those prompts in how to execute those prompts in a more strategic fashion rather than here are some post ideas, which I still think are important because you can utilize everything I just said about it to do that. But if you really want more help, for $4.99 a month, you can get bonus content from me on Instagram. Okay. Next, if you are a member of the Careers on Vacation community, I have talked about this for the last couple of weeks, and it's really important that I talk about it now because we are just about sold out of spots in the last couple of weeks, or we've almost completely sold out. If you are interested in joining me, if this 4-step process is something you want to learn more about, this is exactly what we are doing. We are going in depth to walk through UVP, business goals, ideal client, specialty niche. We're going to talk about the client journey within the ideal client. We're going to help iron out, clarify what exactly your overview content strategy is. You'll be writing that at this live event. And then we will be capturing content. I'm going to teach you how to use your content strategy, your unique content strategy overview, and understand what content you should be grabbing. Now, first off, if you're not a Disney person, I have someone coming who messaged me. She's like, I'm not a Disney person, but this is what I've done. She's killed it. You are still going to get valuable information. Number 1, we're only in Magic Kingdom one day, and I can totally teach you how to get the best content, no matter what we're videoing or taking pictures of. Like, we can really learn how to get the best kind of video, what type of content to capture, how to capture it in order to put it together later. So that will not be wasted, but that is only a small portion of the time we're together. We are together Friday evening, all day Sunday, and Monday until the afternoon. So you're getting like 2.5 days other than that day to really go in depth on the content strategy, putting it together, and building content marketing that supports content strategy. So that is what we're doing. It is only open for the Careers on Vacation community. If you are a COV student, a COV grad, or in Wanderlust CEO, it is open to you. Registration is open. There are only a few spots left. I would love for you to give me a holler on DMs if you need the link, as well as the coupon code so that you can save some money. All right. That is that. I hope that you enjoyed this. I would love to hear. Of course, we would love for you to leave us a review. We would love to hear what you thought about today's episode. And I want you to bring your questions to my DMs and Instagram. So I will talk to you you'll hear from me on Friday for 5 Things Friday. Have a great day, y'all.
Thanks for listening to this episode of the Social Takeoff Podcast. Make sure to leave us a review below and come find me on Instagram at Kelli Haysmith and let me know what you thought of this week's episode. Make sure to check back every Friday for a bonus episode, 5 Things Friday, and every Tuesday for a brand new episode. We'll see you soon. Thanks for listening to this episode of the Social Takeoff Podcast. Make sure to leave us a review below and come find me on Instagram at Kelli Haysmith and let me know what you thought of this week's episode. Make sure to check back every Friday